In every city, there are things that really make that place what it is. Oftentimes, it's landmarks like maybe the Willis Tower in Chicago, Monument Circle down in Indy.
It's hard to imagine those places without those things, right? For some, like 21 Alive producer and reporter John Wagner, it's the little things that make Fort Wayne feel like Fort Wayne.
If there's one thing that's certain in life, it's that there are no certainties. It's almost impossible to know what's waiting up the road or around the corner. That fact can be pretty unsettling and actually kind of scary. And I think that's why we take comfort in the always there things. None of us knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but sure as the sun comes up, Lady Liberty will be perched on top of the Allen County Courthouse to greet another day. The Stars and Stripes will be flying from the roof of the Lincoln Tower, and the Aunt Millie's bread sign will be spinning. Wait, this isn't right. Why isn't it spinning? Why isn't the eternal loaf of bread being eternal? For years, I've been annoying my wife as we drive past on Main Street saying, "The bread falls," as a sort of all is well, like I'm the town crier or something. What was going on? Chuck Surak had added the Perfection Bakery property to his portfolio some time ago, so I frantically called Surak Enterprises. Maybe they weren't even aware the unthinkable had happened. Time had stopped in a way. My hope was that somewhere in this sweet family of businesses, there was a sweet bread sign mechanic who would set things straight pretty quickly.
Please hold while I try to connect you. Good morning. Thank you for calling Surak Enterprises.
Hey, good morning. My name is John Wagner. I am a producer and reporter at 21 Alive. I didn't waste any time. I and a couple other people have noticed the Aunt Millie sign downtown has stopped turning. I was trying to just find out if you guys had shut down power down there or what the story is. The nice person on the other end said they'd have to find the right person for me and put me on a brief hold.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. We were getting somewhere. When Chuck Surak hears about this, I'm sure it'll be his top priority, and someone in a sweet jumpsuit will be on the roof in a matter of minutes to get things rolling again. He is a busy guy, though, probably in a meeting or something like that. That's why this is taking so long. I'll just be patient. Like a good loaf of sourdough, you have to let it rest and rise and...
John?
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Okay, so...
This was a dead end. Uncle Chuck couldn't help me, only Aunt Millie could. While the Pearl Street property now belonged to Surak Enterprises, Perfection Bakeries insisted on being the company to maintain the sign. I did the journalism thing. I called, I emailed, I waited. Just as I was starting to get a little bit anxious, my phone finally rang. Before I knew it, I was invited into the warm, doughy confines for some fresh-baked answers. Melissa Kahneman with Aunt Millie's gave it to me straight. Why did the sign stop turning?
We're speculating the sign stopped turning due to some of the high winds and weather that we've had recently. Yeah.
It's that simple.
It is really that simple. Yes. It's a very simple operation up there, so it can be impacted by the weather. So.
Okay. So the sign is not slated for demolition. There hasn't been a catastrophe, and time itself has not actually stopped. The sign just kind of goes out sometimes.
It is truly that simple, yes. It's a challenge to get up to the rooftop to fix it. As you can see, we're surrounded by construction, and we have construction going on inside and outside the building. So I think at this time, that's just probably what's playing a factor in getting up to the rooftop and getting it fixed, yeah.
As Melissa assured me, these were not the end times. A little motor connected to a wheel just went out.
It is just a wheel that spins. There's 9 rotating bread slices, and just one motor up there that spins it. It's the original sign. It's been refaced a couple times with paint and you know, different areas that have fallen off, maybe a slice or two.
There's no longer bakery operations at the old downtown facility, just corporate headquarters. So this was my chance to ask, does corporate get it? Do they know how much this eternal loaf of bread means to people?
It's funny, before this discussion, I mentioned that people were calling in, and that's what kind of began this discussion. And my coworker said, "Really? People pay attention?" And I said, "Yeah, they do. They're always the first to let us know when the sign stops working."
Melissa has been with Aunt Millie's for decades, and she says she gets it too. She's loved the sign since she was a kid.
You know, my family didn't venture downtown that much, but when we did, it was always something you look forward to, you know, to seeing. And it was, you know, as a little kid, seeing this big sign on top of the building was really cool.
As we tend to see sometimes here in the Rust Belt, when things aren't preserved, they can just sort of disappear. As of right now, there's absolutely no guarantee the sign will stay a part of Fort Wayne's modest skyline.
No, but I think that there will be discussion on that in the future, because at this point, there's 66 years and with the revitalization of Fort Wayne and what all of this means to not only us but the visitors, I think that's going to need to be some future discussion around that.
So whether or not the Infinite Slices get any kind of state or local landmark sanction, the folks at Aunt Millie say they're doing what they can to keep this piece of history rolling.
When we put the new face on 2007, which has been, 16 years now, or it's been a while, so.
I don't know how that's possible.
I know, when I say that, I think, wait, really? Did I just do the math wrong? But when you look at it, it looks like it's time for maybe, some TLC, so, yeah. And with the engine shutting down, that might be a good opportunity to protect it, maybe.
Sometimes it's just a bad case of weather.
Yeah, and we're in Indiana, so, yeah.
Now, without getting into a whole history report, suffice to say, Aunt Millie's has a long history here. One of their biggest claims to fame, besides the sign, of course, is, as the legend goes, they were the first company to bring sliced bread to Fort Wayne. And while loaves no longer roll out hot from the ovens on Pearl Street, once a tiny motor gets a little love, the Sunbeam sign will give us this day our daily bread once again. Hopefully for a long, long time. For now, though, waiting patiently at the corner of Main and Ewing Streets, John Wagner, 21 Alive.